Hello everybody, welcome back to Midnight Legion, and today I will be showcasing one of my clanmates, Headshotz, who happens to be in the currently 24th ranked MERICAN BEARS team. Show you that right here, MERICAN BEARS, currently 24th ranked in the world, and he went perfect using hybrid in C1 CWL. So this is going to be a very fun episode. Ask yourself, when's the last time you've seen a hybrid, and when's the last time you've seen a deep AQ charge? Alright, so here we go with War 1. And something to pay attention to in Headshotz hits is that depending on the base, he will either use the Flame Flinger or the Siege Barracks. So make sure to bring both in your army comp, and then just look at the base and assess if you can get a bunch of free buildings with the Flame Flinger. Take this base for instance. He's going to drop the Flame Flinger over here on the right. He's using a Yeti. Yetis are great for funneling. It has enough hit points to work through this mortar, and the Yeti might take out this archer tower. So now he can go ahead and drop the Flame Flinger in behind the Yeti. Two more Yetis at 9 o'clock. Take out these mortars again. And again, they have enough hit points to work through one defense, and then Yeti might spring forward and eliminate another defense. 2 for 1. So now he's got the AQ coming in here at 9 o'clock. And he's trying to lure and take out and deal with the clan castle troops with his AQ. Notice this elixir storage that the AQ is currently targeting. He needs the elixir storage to go down before he drops in the wall breaker. If he wouldn't have dropped that elixir storage, the wall breaker would have targeted that compartment. Alright, so drops in some loons just to clear out that Tesla, pushing his AQ towards the clan castle. Also, he's going in and dealing with this Gigabomb with his AQ. Symmetrical base decides to take out the Gigabomb since it does really no damage to an AQ charge. Now he's got the enemy clan castle lured, and he wants to deal with enemy clan castle with his AQ so that his hybrid does not get stalled up on the enemy clan castle. You would have all these ice columns freezing your hybrid, and at tunnel 17 there is so much splash damage defense that your hybrid would get melted. So now his AQ is working up. He's got a funnel on both sides for the hybrid. Left side with the AQ, right side with the Flame Flinger. Encountering some bombs as AQ goes to ability. He had the Frozen Arrow and Invisibility Vial on the AQ. He's got Life Gem, Eternal Tome on Warden, and he needs the Life Gem to give the hybrid additional hit points because they have far too few hit points on their own. With all the splash damage at Tunnel 17, these low hit point troops are too squishy and they need the boost so that when they're up above ground, they don't get melted by all the splash. So now he's working through towards the end of the base, and if you noticed, he came behind both fire spitters. That is very nice to do in an AQ charge. Fire spitters are probably the worst defense to an AQ charge because they will reach past the AQ and melt all your healers. So now he's working through the end of the base. Base is pretty much gone. Minion Prince goes down, enemy Minion Prince, that was the last thing that could have done anything, but look at all the troops he's got left, just completely overwhelms the base. Awesome hit. So yeah, definitely check the base, see if you can come in behind both fire spitters, and see if you can get a bunch of value with your Flame Flinger. It's always nice to get free defenses with a Flame Flinger. Strongest siege machine in the game, especially now with all the multi-targeting defenses. Because usually there's a ricochet cannon on the outside of the base and it loves to shoot both P.E.K.K.A.s that come out of the siege machine. Alright, so here we are, base number 2, again Frozen Arrow, Invisibility Vial, 10 seconds of invisibility. Sending in a Test Loon, Archer Queen, notice his Frozen Arrow is going to stall up this ricochet cannon, and notice he's coming in from behind the fire spitter. AQ charge, when you go to do an AQ charge, you should immediately check the base, find where the fire spitters are, figure out how to come in from behind the fire spitter, and then ask yourself where are the problematic defenses that could eliminate your AQ charge healers. Now at Tunnel 17 we have a bunch of multi-archer towers, we again have the scatter shot, we have multi-infernos. All these defenses are very problematic to an AQ charge. So here he is working towards the single target inferno compartment just below the clan castle. Again, he wants to lure the clan castle and deal with the clan castle with his AQ so that his hybrid, specifically the miners, don't stay above ground dealing with what would be a lot of times ice golems and taking a bunch of shots unnecessarily from scatter and splash damage defenses. So works into the core, freeze on this single target inferno, in behind the fire spitter, going to eliminate this first fire spitter. Goes ahead, drops a poison directly on the clan castle. Notice how the poison staggered. It covers all the clan castle, but then most of the poison is towards his AQ, and this is to help damage some of the ice golems that come out and destroy the furnace that a lot of people are running in the clan castle nowadays. So hybrid in from the right, creating the funnel with the siege barracks. Gets a little bit of a split here. He's got the single island monolith. RC is going to path directly to this monolith now. Takes out the monolith. Notice the AQ with the frozen arrow is freezing up this town hall, and the town hall is barely getting any shots off on her. So that is very nice to keep in mind if you're going to AQ charge the town hall. Also, he is running the Phoenix on the AQ. Since there's so many damaging defenses to healers, and an AQ charge is very difficult at Town Hall 17, he's bringing the Phoenix to ensure he gets 8 more seconds of AQ charge. So now he's just working around the outside of the base, just has this Tesla farm, this multi-gear tower, BK Spiky Ball, takes out some of the Teslas. Go ahead, distract for this multi-gear tower. He's also got the snake bracelet on the BK for extra distraction. RC's got plenty of health. Comes in and finishes off the base. Another awesome hit. So yeah guys, if you want to have some fun with hybrid, it is definitely doable. Because if you can do it and get perfect in C1 CWL, you should be able to do it in regular wars where you have more bases to choose from. Just make sure to come in from behind fire spitters with your AQ charge. And if you notice, this is Zeus 2. There's 4 of Navi Klaus's accounts in this clan, and I have all 4 of those hits recorded. He did not use Eternal Tome, so he will be using what will be the new meta after the Eternal Tome rework happens. So make sure to like and subscribe because I will be sharing those 4 hits shortly. So here we have an AQ charge just to the left of 6. And notice these skeleton traps, they come out and distract the AQ's frozen arrow. So now this ricochet cannon was able to get 1 hit off. So that's another detriment to the AQ charge. Using an invisibility to force his AQ to the right to come in behind this fire spitter. Notice how both fire spitters are facing the core. So coming in from behind one, he will eventually have to engage and come straight on to one of the other ones. Got a baby drag to create a funnel to force his AQ in towards this fire spitter compartment. Notice the frozen arrow slowing up this ricochet cannon. Ricochet cannons are one of the hardest hitting defenses to an AQ charge. And now, as if AQ charge wasn't difficult enough, Supercell decided to introduce the furnace on defense, where the fire mites kill your healers in 1 hit. If you're doing root riders, if you're doing drags, all your troops stay out in front. Fire mites hit your main army. But if you're doing anything with an AQ charge or a warden charge, a lot of times the fire mites somehow find their way to your healers. So be cautious of that and always try to keep your AQ between the enemy clan castle and the healers so she can take the fire mites and not your healers. So now he's sending his hybrid straight into the town hall. Town hall 17, don't have to worry about that gigabomb. Notice this fire spitter focusing on all of his hybrid right in the core. So go ahead, use Eternal Tome, protect his miners through the fire spitter. And fire spitters you really want to watch out for. Notice how he took one out with the AQ and he Eternal Tomed through the remaining one. And quick trick, check out the enemy BK. He placed a heal spell directly over top of the enemy BK because he knew that all of his miners were going to target the enemy BK, and this way he ensures that all of his miners will get healed up. And this is also a great trick to do in capital raids if you're using miners. Whenever you encounter enemy troops on the field, just drop the heal spell directly over top of them. The miners will rush to those troops to take them out, and they will get healed up to the best of their ability. So, base is wrecked. Awesome hit to Headshotz. Again, he's got the life gem on the warden for extra hit points on his hybrid to keep them alive when they encounter splash. And notice how his CC troops differed based on what siege machine he was using. When he uses the flame flinger, he runs with 3 Yetis and a barb, and when using the siege barracks, he brings 4 super hogs and a regular hog and an archer. So here we have attack 4, circular base, roughly symmetrical. Notice the gigabomb in the 12 o'clock compartment. He's going to put the flame flinger at 12. So The Flame Flinger can eliminate the Inferno Tower, Ricochet Cannon, Bomb Tower, Wizard Tower, get all those defenses, and effectively render that Giga Bomb useless, because all those defenses will be gone. His hybrid will not have to pass through that section of the base later in the raid. He's using a baby drag at the bottom left to funnel his AQ to 6 o'clock compartment, and he needs to go in straight at this multi-target Inferno Tower. If his AQ was to walk to the right, the multi-target Inferno Tower would destroy all of his healers, and his AQ cannot reach that multi-target Inferno Tower from behind the wall. So Wall Breaker works. Now he's stepping into this compartment, got a Test Loon. Frozen Arrow stalls up this Minion Prince, encountering an Expo, and most importantly, he is behind the Fire Spitter. The Fire Spitter is by far the most dangerous defense to an AQ charge. An AQ does not have the same reach as a Warden if you were to do a Warden charge, and since the AQ has to walk closer to her targets to take them out, she brings her healers with her, and often if you go straight at a Fire Spitter, she brings them right to where the Fire Spitter will destroy all the healers, and it only takes a few hits. So dealing with enemy RC, takes out this scatter shot, now sends a hybrid from the left. Notice how he took out the 6 o'clock compartment and the 12 o'clock compartment, effectively pinching this base. So now his hybrid's going to have to work towards this Town Hall. AQ working around, counterclockwise up here towards 3. Goes ahead and freezes the Town Hall. Nice to use a freeze on the Town Hall to keep the Giga Poison from splashing down on his hybrid. Goes to Warden ability, Eternal Tone. Got 1 heal left, 1 invisibility spell left. Drops the heal for his hybrid. Manages to evade that Giga Bomb. Looks like a tornado trap leads his Yetis into the Giga Bomb. That's alright. It'd almost be nice for the Yetis to die right now anyways, to have their Yeti mites spring forward. RC coming in, take out the Monolith. Tons and tons of Miners and Hogs left, completely overwhelming the base. Base is crushed. And that was a really nice thing about taking out the 12 o'clock compartment with the Flame Flinger and the 6 o'clock compartment with the AQ. So it just made a nice funnel to push all of his hybrid straight towards that Town Hall and then work through the middle. Alright, so attack 5. Diamond style base. Checking the Fire Spitters again. He can come in from behind a Fire Spitter and then send his hybrid in from behind the remaining Fire Spitter. Symmetrical base, so he is sending his AQ in from 6. And he's going in right at the Monolith, Ricochet Cannon, and Multi-Archer Tower. Drops a Skeleton spell to distract them. Rage, so that the AQ can deal with these defenses while they're distracted. Got a Loon to test, pulls a Black Air, Seeking Air Mine. Notice how nice this Frozen Arrow works against these defenses. You didn't even have to invest in Invisibility spell. So now his AQ is working up towards this left side compartment. And since this is symmetrical, it really doesn't matter which way his AQ would have pathed. He will just change the plan and put his hybrid on the opposite side of the AQ, depending on which side she went. So drops the Siege Barracks down. Since the AQ is going to the left, he's going to come in with his hybrid from the right. Another Rage for the AQ, dealing with this multi-target Inferno, and she's actually going to reach the Scatter Shot, which is kind of insane. Nice catch with that. In behind the Fire Spitter, about to take out the Fire Spitter on the left. Heal over top of the Fire Spitter on the right. Goes ahead, drops the poison directly on top of the Clan Castle. Well, not directly, staggered on top of the Clan Castle. You always want most of your poison facing your troops, or whatever the Clan Castle is coming after. And notice, on this raid, he did not deal with the Clan Castle with his AQ. Because Fire Spitters are that deadly. It's better to deal with the Clan Castle with your hybrid than to send your hybrid at a Fire Spitter. So now he's working through the rest of these defenses. Not too much splash left. Just got this Tesla farm. And he's got enough troops to overwhelm. RC is working through. BK uses the spiky ball to clip RC 2 ability. Hog Puppet overwhelms, takes out the last ricochet cannon onto attack 6. And notice again, Super Hogs, he's using the Siege Barracks on that hit. So Super Hogs in the Siege Barracks and 3 Yetis in the Flame Flinger. However, you can adjust your Clan Castle troops however you see fit, and a lot of times you decide what Clan Castle troops you want based on their speed. Super Hogs are faster than Yetis, and a lot of times you want to predict where your army, specifically your RC, is going to be in the raid, and then have those CC troops come out of the siege machine and support your RC. So notice diamond style base again, fire spitters facing top left and bottom left. And he wants to come in from behind the fire spitter, of course. Frozen arrow again, baby drag for funnel, working in towards this multi-target inferno compartment. Rage tower goes off, so definitely make sure that he doesn't want the healers in range. Healers are all going to stay behind. Notice how he positioned his healers too when he first started that AQ charge. He positioned his healers to the right of the AQ, making sure that when the AQ stepped forward, they wouldn't be out of range of that fire spitter. So now he's working towards the Clan Castle troops, encounters this ricochet cannon, puts a rage down so that his AQ can power through that ricochet cannon before it encounters these ice golems. Notice the poison spell again, how it's staggered over the Clan Castle, just covering the back end, with most of the poison facing his AQ. Now he's sending in his hybrid straight at the Town Hall, going to get rid of that giga poison as fast as possible. Siege Barracks, creating a funnel to the right. Peck is walking to the top right side. Invisibility spell on the Queen, protecting her. Monolith targets and kills AQ. AQ gets revived from the Phoenix, 8 seconds. Able to take out this multi-inferno tower, so now his hybrid should be a little bit more safe from splash and multi-targeting defenses. Still has a fair amount of splash on the outside. Got the ricochet, multi-archer tower, scatter shot, and a couple wizard towers. BK still working around the outside. Got some snakes distracting. RC working towards the monolith. RC with electric boots and the hog puppet. Nice thing about the hog puppet, you get a second of invisibility, so your hogs can get out in front of the RC and tank for her. You will see that very shortly when the RC approaches the multi-gear tower. RC is working with this expo. Multi-gear tower targets RC. RC goes to ability. Hogs jump out in front of the RC to distract. Now they're also distracting for this scatter shot. Scatter shot now locks onto the RC, but those 2 shots that missed RC, more than enough for the RC to work through the scatter shot. Got this one healer working on this super hog that fell off up top, doing her best to contribute, and the base is 3-starred. Again, with the super hogs out of the siege barracks. So on to our last hit. And this last hit is one of my favorite hits because it is against a box style base. And when you do AQ charges, you will find out quickly that box style bases are one of the most difficult bases to AQ charge. A lot of times that being they have all these small compartments that have all these multi-targeting defenses like the multi-archer tower, multi-inferno tower, or scatter shot that are just outside of the range of the AQ that can target the AQ's healers as she walks by. So baby drag to funnel, he's pushing his AQ to the left. He wants to come in from behind the fire spitter again. Opens up this wall next to the ricochet cannon. He's going to push his AQ in to this compartment with that multi-inferno tower. Sends in a sneaky gob. Take out that gold collector. Has this expo locked onto his AQ the entire time. Goes ahead, rages his AQ. Going to be encountering the scatter shot, enemy RC, and the ricochet cannon. Uses an invis spell to make sure to keep his AQ alive. Now the frozen arrow is able to target the scatter shot, and now the ricochet cannon. And notice when the ricochet cannon was being hit by the frozen arrow, it wasn't able to get a shot off to kill the wall breaker. So that's a nice little trick. Wait for your frozen arrow to target the ricochet cannon, then drop your wall breaker. So Rage Tower goes off, and now he's got a Raged Inferno Tower, he's got a Raged Expo, he's got another Expo. AQ's forced to go to ability. AQ steps up, takes out the Fire Spitter, exactly what he wants. And notice how at this range, he's still getting hit by the enemy Fire Spitter, and his healers are just barely out of range. However, he does have this air defense targeting his healers. And this just goes to show just how difficult an AQ charge is at Town Hall 17. If you've watched other videos on the channel, you'll see that I like to do AQ charge quite a bit. And I like to bring the Warden with my AQ so I can use the Eternal Tome to protect and keep the healers alive when I encounter damages. But doing this in a hybrid where you have no backups to protect your healers is quite insane. So now Warden ability, getting these hogs and some of these miners, a lot of these miners in at the Town Hall, takes out the Town Hall. Now he's just got a few of these defenses on the back end and the space is destroyed. But yeah, this was one heck of a base to AQ charge, being a square base, having the rage compartment, 2 expos, Inferno Tower. Unfortunately, that AD took out the healers, otherwise the AQ might still be alive. Doesn't matter though, base is wrecked. Awesome hit the headshots. Congrats on going perfect with hybrid in C1 CWL. When's the last time you've seen hybrid? When's the last time you've seen it in C1 CWL? My guess is never. So definitely give this strat a try. It's definitely viable by using base identification to come in from behind a fire spitter and keep your healers on your AQ safe. Thanks for watching. Have a great time and see you again next time. Bye.